Sophia stood frozen in the doorway of her living room, her designer heels clicking once on the hardwood floor before stopping completely. A stranger sat in her antique chair feeding her daughter, her 6-month-old daughter Emma, who should have been with the nanny. The man looked up and their eyes met. He didn't look startled or guilty. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Just calm, almost gentle, as he continued to hold the bottle to Emma's lips. Who are you? Sophia's voice came out sharper than she intended, though her heart was hammering. And what are you doing with my baby? The man glanced down at the name tag on his green work shirt. Mitch, I'm the repair technician, he said evenly. Your nanny let me in to fix the furnace. About 20 minutes ago, she got a phone call and ran out. Said it was an emergency with her mother. She asked if I could watch the baby until you got home. Sophia's mind raced. She pulled out her phone and saw 3 missed calls from Grace, her nanny. A text message read, Mrs. Harrison, so sorry. Mom fell at hospital. Repairman said he'd stay with Emma. Please don't be angry. You were telling me my nanny left my infant daughter with a complete stranger, Sophia said, anger rising as she processed the reality of a man she'd known for less than half an hour, caring for her most precious person. Mitch looked uncomfortable for the first time, shifting slightly in the chair but keeping his hands steady for Emma. I know how it sounds, but she was really upset, crying about her mother. I told her I have a daughter myself and that Emma would be safe. That's supposed to make me feel better. That you have a child? Sophia's voice was tight with fear and fury. No, Mitch said quietly, his own tone deflating. I suppose not. But Emma was crying and I couldn't just leave her alone. So I stayed. Sophia moved across the room quickly and reached for her daughter. Mitch handed Emma over without hesitation, his movements careful and deliberate, ensuring the bottle was secure as he transferred the baby. The baby gurgled happily, milk dribbling down her chin. She seemed perfectly content, her eyes heavy with the satisfaction of a good feed. I should call the police, Sophia said, holding Emma close, inhaling her sweet scent to calm her own nerves. But even as she spoke the words, she wasn't sure she meant them. The scene was all wrong for a crime. There was no panic, no evasion, just a man sitting quietly with his toolbox at his feet, and a now empty bottle in his hand. You could, Mitch agreed, nodding slowly as he stood up. But I promise you I was just trying to help. Your nanny was desperate. Your daughter was upset. And I know what it's like to be a parent in crisis. Sophia looked down at Emma, who was now playfully grabbing at the silk scarf around her neck. Then she looked back at the stranger. He had kind eyes, tired around the edges, and working-class hands that were clean but bore the marks of his trade. Everything about him, from his worn work boots to his sincere, unpolished demeanor, was different from the polished executives and investors she dealt with daily in her high-stakes finance career. Where's your daughter now? She found herself asking, the question leaving her lips before she could vet it for propriety. With my sister, Mitch said, and a softness came over his face, a mixture of pride and sorrow. She's 3. My wife passed away last year, so my sister helps out when I'm on late calls or long jobs like this one. The anger drained out of Sophia slightly, replaced by a sudden heavy recognition. Another single parent, another person navigating the impossible, heart-stopping task of raising a child, alone in a world full of risks and what-ifs. Her own husband had left when Emma was just a month old, citing the pressure, leaving Sophia to juggle Wall Street and motherhood with a relentless nanny schedule and a profound, constant undercurrent of anxiety. I'm sorry, she said, her voice softer, about your wife. Thank you, Mitch replied, gathering his tools slowly, giving her space. And I'm sorry for scaring you. I told Grace I'd wait until you got home. I couldn't just leave. Sophia sat down on the sofa, Emma cradled in her arms, the adrenaline finally ebbing and leaving a deep weariness. Most people would have, she admitted, thinking of the countless self-involved individuals in her own social circle. I'm not most people, Mitch said simply without arrogance. It was just a statement of fact. They looked at each other for a long moment, a silent understanding passing between them, a recognition of shared battles, fought in different trenches. "Did you fix the furnace?" Sophia asked finally, grasping for normalcy, for the practical thread of why he was here in the first place. "Yeah," he said, a small, genuine smile touching his lips. "The motor was shot. Replaced it. Your heat should be working fine now. You should feel it warming up already." "Thank you," Sophia said, and she meant it for more than just the furnace. "Now what do I owe you?" Mitch stood, gathering his tools into a heavy metal case. "The company will invoice you. Standard service call plus parts. They'll email it by tomorrow." He hesitated, then added, "If it's okay, I'd appreciate it if you didn't report." Grace. She was truly terrified about her mom. "She's a good kid, just in over her head today." Sophia looked at his earnest face and then at Emma, who was now sleeping peacefully against her chest. She thought of Grace's own panic, her own moments of sheer desperation as a single mother. "I won't report her," Sophia said. "But we will have a very serious conversation about protocols." "That's fair," Mitch nodded. He picked up his toolbox and walked toward the doorway, then paused. "You're a good mom," he said, his back to her for a moment before he turned. "The way you came in here, ready to fight a bear for her. Emma's lucky." The words, so unexpected and sincere, struck a chord deep within Sophia. In her world, compliments were about deals closed or appearances kept, not about the messy, terrifying reality of motherhood. "Thank you, Mitch," she said, her voice thick with an emotion she couldn't name. "You're a good man, and a good dad, I can tell." He gave a small, humble nod and let himself out, closing the door softly behind him. The latch clicked into place, and the house was quiet except for the new, gentle hum of the furnace and Emma's soft breathing. Sophia sat in the growing warmth, holding her daughter, replaying the last half hour. The terror had been real, the violation of her home's security profound. And yet, the resolution had not been one of violence or legal drama, but of unexpected humanity. In a city of millions, where trust was a commodity and kindness often viewed with suspicion, a stranger had simply stayed. He had seen a need, a crying baby, a desperate nanny, and had chosen to act with quiet decency. It was a humble, profound act that her spreadsheet-driven life had no metric for. She pulled out her phone again, this time to text Grace. "Grace, I'm home with Emma. She's safe. Call me when you can about your mom. We'll talk tomorrow." She didn't mention anger. She would address the breach, yes, but from a place of understanding, not fury. Later, after putting Emma to bed in her crib, Sophia stood by the nursery window, watching the city lights glitter like cold stars. She thought of Mitch, driving across town to his sister's house to pick up his own little girl, both of them navigating a life reshaped by loss. Two different worlds, briefly intersecting in a moment of crisis, had somehow left them both a little less alone. It was a story not of danger, but of a kindness that chose to remain in a vulnerable space. A gentle intervention that spoke of the invisible threads of shared parenthood that connect us all. In the end, the greatest repair of the evening had not been to the furnace, but to her frayed faith in people. If you were moved by this story of unexpected kindness and human connection, please show your support for our channel. Like, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories for more real-life narratives that remind us of the good in the world. Your engagement helps us share more light